Hi guys, this is the Revisit Reviews and we're back after a small little hiatus क्योंकि पैंडमिक हो रहा था और हम लोग कुछ और कर नहीं पा रहे थे लाइफ में and we took a break and now we're back and to start us off we've got Aditya the Groove Bhagavatula who's one of my favorite musicians from the city.
Hello.
Aditya तो कैसा है तू?
बस यार मैं मतलब
पिछले 2-3 साल में
बैठा
बड़ा हो
हूँ।
गया तू. In any case,
like everyone else.
like everyone else. First off, are you one of the top? ठीक है, we've got the answer. But ठीक है, in any case,
नहीं।
Aditya,
Top तो नहीं but हाँ
so
one of the.
tell us about yourself, man.
I am Aditya as Abhay introduced and I've been learning drums and I play with the Revisit project and anyone else who will hire me,
ठीक है.
God willing. But yeah, and that's about it. Nothing special here.
And
honestly.
about Aditya, guys, he was a kid when he started playing for us. He's still a kid, and he was actually a metal drummer. And Aditya, तेरी journey मैंने देखी है. And ये podcast session जो भी तू कह ले, it's just about introducing us and reintroducing us, in fact, and to the kind of things that we do. We are picking our brains in terms of each musician from the band to just understand कि तुमने जो प्रैक्टिस करते हैं हम लोग जो और तुमने पैंडेमिक में स्पेशली जो प्रैक्टिस का जो सिनारियो क्रिएट किया है व्हाट इज़ दैट अबाउट नाउ सिंस यू हैड अ जर्नी फ्रॉम मेटल and all encompassing journey so to speak wherein there is funk, there is rock and roll, and there's R&B, there's gospel, there's jazz. So tell us about your warm up. Like जब तू उठता है तो तू how do you warm up? Do you immediately get
यार
to
मतलब
drumming?
first of all these genres that he just named ये तो मैंने सुने हैं बस. It's not मतलब मैं बजा नहीं सकता. But yeah, I did start with a lot of metal. मतलब मैं for the longest I used to listen to a lot of metal. So and I was very focused on getting my double bass speed up to par. So I was supposed to look at you. So a lot of my practice was focused on that. Matlab, I never really got to a good speed because I was just too impatient.
ठीक है.
But like getting straight to the point, mera warm up is usually I do this Tommy Igoe lifetime warm up. Tommy Igoe is a very good drummer and educator.
ठीक है.
He stays in California and so he has these tracks, 5-minute, 10-minute warm-ups that I usually do at the start of a practice session to
ठीक है.
get myself warmed up.
And is it, I mean, this is a very rookie question, but is it very important कि warm up ज़रूरी है या like I've had times where I haven't really warmed up and just straight up played things. They sounded bad. In hindsight, I know this. But is warm up absolutely the most important thing for a drummer, or can you kind of skip it and just kind of wing it or whatever?
Yeah, like when I do this Tommy Igoe thing, it's called Tommy Igoe lifetime warm up. Great hands for a lifetime.
ठीक है.
So matlab the whole thing with that is that I mean even if I don't warm up, one day, I think I won't suck as bad. But the thing is just doing those 20 minutes 30 minutes every day really keeps you in shape, and I think that's why warming up na thoda help kar leta hai usme.
Yeah, talking about shape, we shouldn't talk about it first of all. ठीक है क्योंकि तू बहुत पतला है और मैं थोड़ा मोटा. But in any case, coming back to the topic, now that we are here, तेरा warm up जो तू बता रहा है जो Tommy sir वाला, and what happens after that? Do you just straight up get into playing songs or what?
Yeah, after that usually depends. अगर मैंने practice बहुत ही late चालू की है और अगर क्योंकि I can only play drums till 5 PM in my like building, तो अगर मैंने 4 बजे चालू, although I shouldn't do this, but अगर मैंने 4 बजे चालू किया तो फिर I'll do this warm up, then I'll get straight to playing songs. But if, days that I'm actually practicing for long periods of time, which is frequent, it's not like less or anything. उन दिनों में मतलब I'll do my warm up, then after that I'll do some basic like groove exercises to get my hands and feet like coordination sorted. So one example would be something like this.
Sure.
And I basically move through all the subdivisions.
When you say you move through subdivisions, like
subdivision as in so it's
to me and to
the
people.
I move through the entire 16 note grid, which is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a. So I'll play the kick on the E, then on the and, then
Which is something you were also explaining कि आपको भी ये करना चाहिए. तू मेरे को एक बार बता रहा था to get your
this thing is, when you practice your subdivisions that well, no, then like it's almost as if you start to see things in a very clear manner, because it's all laid out in front of you. So because I'll do this, then I'll also do groupings of 2 and 3s. So
Sure.
that'll be something like groupings of 3 will be something like that.
ठीक है. And so these things ये जो तू subdivisions practice कर रहा है, and how often and how long are these sessions?
मतलब I do like 4 cycles of each. So matlab it roughly comes down to 3 minutes. I'm doing this at I think 100 BPM right now. Not fast. I don't practice. I barely practice fast. A lot of my practice, like the technical practice, aside from playing songs, is just me playing very slow. So 90,
Yeah, you
100
emphasize
BPM.
on that a lot. And पहले नहीं था ऐसा शायद. Yeah, is this a recent occurrence? Because I have जितना मैंने तुझसे recently बात किया है कि you are asking everyone to calm down and अपना थोड़ा I think tempo wise भी slow practice करो, which is something that I've seen Jaco also speak about and a lot of other great musicians as well.
यार स्लो प्रैक्टिस तो मैंने की है काफ़ी टाइम से. मतलब जब मैं बजाता हूँ बाहर तो मतलब फॉर द लॉन्गेस्ट आई जस्ट वांट टू प्ले रियली फास्ट, बिकॉज आई जस्ट वांट टू प्ले रियली फास्ट एंड इम्प्रेस पीपल एंड गेट अ राउंड ऑफ अपलॉज.
Impress not express उस वक्त.
हाँ, अभी भी मतलब एक्सप्रेस तो whatever. But the thing is, slow practice से ना बहुत, again as I said, it's all laid out in front of you, because then you're not focused on pushing your body or pushing yourself beyond something that you're not able to play. It's always just pushing yourself a little bit.
So talking about that, when you say pushing yourself, what does it, for example, show us a groove which is actually fast, but then you've also practiced slow to get it going for yourself. Is there a
हाँ, तो अभी I was practicing this groove yesterday only, because I have to. It's this song by Robert Glasper. It's called Let It Ride.
ठीक है.
And it's like a fast drum and bass groove that I have
DNB
to
types.
practice, and I
Go for it.
haven't really played a lot of that, so
Sure.
I was playing it like this. I started at this tempo. This is around I think 90, 100, 120 BPM something. I really don't know. The original song is at 164, so eventually I got it up to. Something
Nice.
But I didn't just get, I mean, of course I have to improve upon that a lot, but ये मैंने कल ही figure out किया है. But basically doing 100 BPM, 105, 110, because I'm on a short time frame, तो मैंने इतने drastic jumps लेके मैंने ऐसे धीरे धीरे लेके गया. But ideally I would say for 1 week do 100 BPM for 4 or 5 minutes.
And this is, you're saying, anything that you practice?
हाँ, anything. If you want to figure out, if you want to work on anything.
For example, you're transcribing.
हाँ, this is what? Anthropology.
Anthropology.
Anthropology. So I played the melody on my drums and played it really slow to get a really good hang of the melody. उसके बाद
Segueing into this, like now as a jazz student, because I think all of us are students, there are hardly any jazz musicians in the country.
Yeah.
And as students of jazz, what is the first thing a drummer, I mean, just picking your brain, what is the first thing that a drummer needs to address, or at least just acknowledge or understand?
Again, as you said, we're all students, so I am really no one to tell anyone how to approach jazz. But what Manoj Mavle, my teacher, what he told me was, and what I also realized after talking to some musicians and attending a lot of these talks and interviews by these drummers like Vinny Colaiuta, Mike Clark, and reading a lot of interviews, it was basically getting your swing sorted. Because
अब जब तू ये बोलता है getting your swing sorted, मतलब जब मेरे को भी बचपन में लोग बताते थे कि get your swing sorted, तो मेरे को समझ नहीं आता था इसका exactly
हाँ, I came up with a very good like I recently understood this. Thing is, so for any, अभी तो मैं लोगों की भी बात नहीं करता, let's talk about drummers or musicians. When you think about drums or anything, when you think about a groove,
Hmm.
you think so what was keeping you grooving was the kick and the snare.
Hmm.
है ना? Like, दुक, ता, दुक, दुक, ता. The hi-hat was there, but it was like the cherry on top, or the cake, the meat of the whole thing was the kick and snare.
Sure.
Now the thing is, from what I have seen, what helped me the most get my swing swing going was to make the ride cymbal and the hi-hat my kick and snare.
Hmm.
Just like
That's the switch between a
हाँ.
funk and or a rock and
funk, matlab, I think everything.
Yeah.
Because it's very rare that you will hear people grooving to a ride cymbal, right? It's always dup, pa, boop, pa. So
a four on the floor wala vibe.
हाँ, तो because it's a lot more subtle. It doesn't have the lows of a bass drum or the crack of a snare drum. So eventually,
Why was that though? Was there a particular thing because 30s 40s Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, इन लोगों का ये scene है ना?
हाँ,
Max Roach. and all these guys.
from what I know, whatever little I know, apparently because there were small clubs,
Acha.
you were dynamically very limited. So you had to, because even the nature of that music was very subtle. I think limited might be the wrong word.
Then
but
it goes into guys like Peter Erskine, and then later on with Veckel, and उससे पहले भी जो जैसे for example Mike Clark, David Garibaldi हो गए, जिन लोगों ने you can hear that अच्छा यार ये swing बजाता था, but इसका funk भी है.
I think that happened when funk, Latin, Afro-Cuban
Billy Cobham
and
वाला
jazz came, like these musicians who were just the best at every genre of music. Or at
Side
least-
note, we are all students. हम लोग ये claim नहीं कर रहे कि हमको ये पता है. हम लोग भी ये उस point of view से
it's
बता रहे
this,
हैं कि
like
educational.
speculation.
speculation,
In a way.
education, multination.
Yeah, ये जब इन्होंने funk, Latin, jazz और Afro-Cuban जब इन्होंने सीखा था, I think that's when the whole jazz fusion scene started happening.
So
if I'm not wrong.
a quick guide. I think we're out of time anyway because we'll keep it short and
Yeah,
snappy. Like if I just ask you to quickly help us understand basic differences between like say a funk, like चार बार के लिए तो funk groove कर, and then how is that related to rock if at all, and how is everything related to swing? Do you know if at all these things are related, or why should a kid, someone like you who's gone through metal, also try and understand these other genres? क्यों? Why should they do something like that?
यार आई थिंक एक सटलिटी आ जाती है तुम्हारी प्लेइंग में, एक बहुत सही डायनामिक रेंज आ जाती है, और बहुत सही योर प्लेइंग गेट्स वेरी मेलोडिक. It's just, I don't know, I am yet to fully discover this, but it's, for example, I'll give you an example of how I used to play the right cymbal as opposed to how I am trying to play it
This
now.
is when you were completely into metal.
Yeah, metal,
Sure.
jazz fusion. So I remember we were playing a quartet gig 1 or 2 years ago at Piano Man, and it was this whole jazz repertoire which had songs like Anthropology, Ornithology.
Sure.
So for example, Anthropology का head लेते हैं. उस टाइम में कैसे बजाता था? As opposed to, doing something like
A dynamic drop.
and
There's nothing wrong with that as well. Like there's nothing wrong with being heavy influenced as well. But
no, for sure.
you got to know where it comes from. Bro.
हाँ, वही.
And for example, if there is like if you were to play funk, how has that changed now that you're a funk?
I think
drummer?
all my focus goes to the kick and snare immediately instead of making my ride sort of.
Because
the
I think
meat.
I still feel tera more of what you do is very funk and R&B influenced as well. So just play us some funk for the listeners. ठीक है. हाँ, so now has that also changed since you
हाँ, that has changed for sure.
like sideways बोलूँगा मैं, not away from metal, like, and so does that also help, like now that you're into funk, has your dynamic drop due to swing also helped your funk playing somehow?
Yeah, for sure. It has helped everything यार. मैं कुछ भी बजाता हूँ अब तो मतलब it's just better.
Because
And
you've gone from jazz, like metal, to now you're learning funk, gospel, R&B, jazz as well.
हाँ,
So that is like
definitely.
you can go from 0 to 100 thanks to your metal background as well.
Thanks. मतलब हाँ मतलब मैं पीट सकता हूँ
पीट सकता है।
drums को.
And perfect. So
हाँ.
now we have hardly a minute left. So first of all, thank you so much for doing this. We'll be doing this more often now. And off the top of your head, top 5 drummers that you're following right now that you can tell other drummers or listeners to also kind of get into.
यार वैसे तो मेरे फेवरेट हैं डेव वैकल, विनी कोल्यूटा, स्टीव स्मिथ, बेनी ग्रेब and Steve Gadd and Simon. I love Simon Phillips and I think Jojo Mayer for sure. But right now I'm listening to a lot of Max Roach. Abhi Max Roach and Clifford Brown have these 3 albums together. I think they might have
anyone who knows Aditya knows that Max Roach and Clifford Brown have 3 albums out.
नहीं but अभी मैं Max Roach was this drummer during the when you know the what period was that? I don't even know.
40s, 50s,
50s, 60s.
Post World War.
So him and this trumpet guy,
World War II.
Clifford Brown, have these 3 albums that I'm really checking out. Manoj sir only introduced me to them.
So to young drummers out there who I mean are probably sleeping right now because it's too early. So name top 5 drummers unke liye if you're starting out.
Jazz?
Any
If you're starting
just to get your basics right.
Just to get your basics right, then I would say, man, Dave Weckel, for sure. It's very similar, that list. Vinny Colaiuta. Because these 2 drummers, I feel like, are really, really influential. And if you want to know where this whole breed of drummers from the 70s, 80s and 90s came about, then you should check out Tony Williams. Because he was very influential. And all these guys spoke very highly of him. So I think that is someone you should definitely listen to. Dave Eckel also has a lot of his own music out that you should check out, which I love.
Perfect. I think that should be it, guys. And again, huge shout out to Aditya for doing this. And we'll be doing this more. Revisit reviews, signing off.
See you.